Chris, you spoke a bit post-match about this guys being a bit flat and being a bit off their best. Have you had to fire them up a bit at all this week?
Not so much emotionally. I think they were in a good space there pretty quickly after the game, albeit disappointed, but in the right space in terms of being focused on what we can do leading into this game against a good opposition. And physically we think we've had a couple of tweaks to our program which we think will make a difference. So looking forward to pretty charged performance.
A couple of forced changes through the injuries. Can you talk us through the decision regarding selection with Asava and Mark, I guess?
Yeah, well, I mean, Asava's been in our team virtually all year and has been important to us and played well, so that was a pretty easy decision and a good thing for us to be able to get him back in. So who did you reference with that?
Mark O'Connor, I think he was the sub, I guess, but being coming up into the side. We've seen him play a tagging role, I guess, for him specifically. Will you look to use him in that capacity with some of the Port's threats in the midfield? Yeah,
it's always an option. We almost never go into a game just saying we're just going to let our midfield go against theirs, and so that part is easy to establish. Which one it is becomes a bit harder because they've been a really dynamic and consistent group in there. Rosie, Butters, Horne-Francis, and that's sort of focusing in on the young guys and leaving out Wines and Boak and the others. So their midfield is largely responsible for their success this year. So that'd be a big part of the game. But yeah, I guess I don't really think about it in terms of O'Connor coming in. He was sort of always in our team and has been virtually all year.
Horrible incident earlier this week with Jeremy. Have you had the chance to speak to him? Is he mentally ready to go?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. As soon as it was established from my perspective that he's completely the innocent party and that he was okay, that was really the end of it for me. And really maybe the job of the head coach over the years has evolved a little bit, but I just haven't been involved in the nitty-gritty once I'd established those key facts. But I guess I did kind of follow up a little bit, not so much because of that incident, but just in general, is he ready to play at his best? And that's been unequivocal.
Reports earlier this week maybe Gary Rowan had a leg injury. Is there any truth to that?
Oh, he's had an ankle. I'm going to say he missed the Brisbane game. Again, I'd sort of look forward and struggle even with the previous month. But the game before that, whatever that was, maybe it was the Essendon game here. Yeah, he tweaked his ankle a little bit, missed the next game, probably could have played. And he still manages that a little bit. But that's not any more significant than 50% of players on every list, I would have estimated.
You wrote back in, does that force Henry forward, and how does that sort of that mix look without Hawkins there?
Yeah, I mean that's the intriguing puzzle for us. It was only brought to my attention by Jeremy this week actually that he's never played for the Cats without Hawkins there, which sort of took me by surprise a little bit. He's a unique player, Tom, so we're not going to try to replace him like for like, but a different structure. Like even Blitzarv's in his role, in my mind, is unique as well. So those two players structurally force us to shift the way that we go about it, which is exciting as well. We've got some young guys in there throughout the year who have got some opportunity that may not have if we had been at full availability. So in the midfield without Blitzarv's, looking forward to sort of Bruin and Parfitt will come into the 23 as well. So looking forward to those guys playing together. They're different to some of our other big midfielders, so that's exciting for us. And then ahead of the ball, it'll just be a different look. So we're not going to forecast it just yet, but we're excited about. I always prefer to have Hawkins in. I hope he plays till he's 40, but there is some upside having a slightly different look in there.
Is there the potential to move Sam De Koning up forward? He's no stranger to playing up there. Is he part of that?
Yeah, it's in the conversation. I'm certain he can do it, but I'm probably, in my mind, given some of the instability we had early in the year with our defenders, probably more of a mind to try to settle them down a little bit. I mean, clearly without Hawkins, someone will have to move, but Sam's still early in his career, and I'm really hopeful that he can improve a lot. So I don't think he's the one right at the moment that we're thinking about throwing around too much, although I'm certain he'd be a good forward if we played him there long enough.
Just on Hawkins, do you have an update on how long you expect
Yeah, my information is that it's minor, and he will certainly play before the end of the home and away series. But like that, I'm passing on my interpretation of the information, and I think I've said before, until it gets to within 10 days, I'm probably not the best person to ask. I'm just guessing.
And Blitzards, we saw him doing a little bit of running out there. Obviously, it's a bit more of a serious one. Do you hope to get him back for this year at least?
Yeah, that one I think is a little, I mean, definitely more serious. Hawkins was minor. It was a significant one for Blitzards. So, no, look, he's not in my thinking for the home and away season, but I'm always happy to be surprised on the upside.
And how about Guthrie as well? How's he sort of tracking along? Do you anticipate that he could come in at the end of the home away season, or is it probably more the finals if you make it? Sort of situation?
No, I think he's tracking roughly towards some home and away time. The question will be, having missed so much with a foot injury, how he comes back, likely through the VFL. But I think even with that program, he could play some VFL footy and then still play, say, the last home and away game, for example, somewhere roughly there.
And Zach Tui as well, looked like he wasn't doing much at train today. Is that just a management thing for him?
Yeah, there were a few that just had a really quiet day today, so he was one of them.
Talking about the run-in and what's left, you're going to probably have to win 3 of the last 4 to get there. The finals almost starts now, I guess, in a way. Is it a good place to be in, I guess, in the sense that it's almost do or die from here on in for the rest of the season?
Maybe. It's hard to get into every individual's head. Some guys really thrive on that. We just got to win every game we play, and that's a good thing. Others are burdened by that. I think collectively, I'm not even sure I completely agree that we need to win 3. It may not end up that way. But if we're trying to sort of hedge our bets a little bit and so we can afford to lose this one and not that one, we're probably in the wrong mindset. For me, I think it's a good thing that we play 1 and 2 in the ladder over the next 2 weeks. And yeah, what if we beat them? Then I think it would be hard to say that we're not in pretty good shape going into the next couple and ready to play well. But again, those sort of things, that's not the headspace we want the players in. It's not even really the headspace I should be in because we haven't been playing our best. So just, again, back that if we find that, that'll be good enough. But the focus is on playing better than we have the last couple of weeks.
Do you feel like you're getting Port at a good time as well? Obviously, you're out, and you sort of dropped before that Charlie Dixon ruled out as well. Does that change your thinking a bit? And how do you approach them, considering they're coming off a few losses and with those out?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I find it so hard to be accurate in your estimation of where other teams are at. So again, like the psychology part, are they going to be better because they've lost 3 in a row and they feel like they need to get back into form, or is it a sign that they're off and that they're going to struggle? I don't know. I can't answer those questions. So at the margin, the really specific things like Dixon not playing. Okay, well that Marshall and Finlayson are pretty good players. Frank Evans looked like he was going to go out of the team. He might come back in after kicking 4 last week. So it's not as if they're bereft of options. So look, I think I'd prefer to focus in general terms, and I bore you probably by saying it. I just expect the opposition to play as well as they possibly can.
There's been a talk about the hunger all year with the way the season's gone, and maybe some questions off the back of last week about toughness. I know you've spoken at times during the year about wanting your players to sort of own that mentality where the premiers, embrace that, not drawing links between the two. But do you think some of that commentary is fair, whether you've heard it or not?
I find it a little bit amusing because I haven't heard it. But I get it to an extent that when you don't really know what you're talking about, you go to, and this is a tell, like keep your eyes out for it. When you don't know what's happening in the game and you have to talk about it, talk about effort and toughness, because it's a cover-all that is almost impossible to prove incorrect. Is it what we're going to? It hasn't been. Now there's a chance that we're wrong, but what we do have is the benefit of kind of seeing them day to day and making an informed assessment on it. But yeah, I kind of look, I do my best not to listen to that stuff, but now you bring it up, is that the best you can do?
Just on the early concussion incident,
Sorry,
work
rate's going on.
the early concussion incident, what was your thoughts on them not doing the SCAT fire test, and obviously the AFL coming down hard on them today?
Yeah, I think the role of the head coach is to not get involved in it at all. Certainly not when it comes to other clubs. But if we wanted to play that game and think through that situation hypothetically happening with us, I just wouldn't be involved. And that's the way our program's designed, and that's my understanding of the way the AFL system runs. It's not for the head coach to have a view on these things.